What's going on, guys? Hope you all are doing great. In this video right here, we will start our series on Linux. And yeah, to really start a series on Linux, we need to have Linux installed. But the first thing we need to do before we have Linux installed is we have to install a VirtualBox, because I want you to follow along with this tutorial. This is going to be a long series. It's going to be an interesting series, and it's going to be a nice career progression series. So what we'll be starting is with Linux first, and then from Linux, after learning a little bit of Linux, we can go to Azure, we can go to AWS, we can go to also Google Cloud. And basically, this is the whole cloud engineering roadmap that we'll be going through, and you're going to see the whole documentation of this. You're going to see the roadmap. I wanted that when you come to this YouTube channel, you check the playlist and you'll be able to see the Linux tutorials. You'll be able to see the Azure tutorials. You'll also be able to see networking tutorials. You'll be able to see system tutorials, all the things you need to actually become a cloud engineer. Now, the first thing we need to do, as I said earlier, we need to download VirtualBox. So that's what we're going to do, because what is VirtualBox basically? Why we need VirtualBox is that I want us to be able to actually use Linux without having to install the operating system on your Windows or Mac. If you do that, you're going to lose a lot of files, and I don't want that to happen. I want you to just be able to use the program. We'll use a VirtualBox. This will basically host everything we're going to download. This is going to be like another operating system within our operating system, and it's just going to help everything work out well and not destroy anything we have on our operating system that we use. I know I'm saying operating system a lot, but you really understand this when we do it together and when you follow along. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. My name is Sam, and I do programming tutorials, tech tutorials, and yeah, join the community. Put any comments down below if you have any questions. Smash that like button if you're new. Smash the subscribe button if you're new. And you know what? With all that being said, let's get to it. Okay, you can see that I have two tabs here. I have the Oracle VM VirtualBox. I'll leave a link to this in the description below so you can download it yourself. And what we'll do is we'll just download it. So I click download right here. The host is Windows, and yes. So we download VirtualBox and wait for it to download well. Now that we kind of have it downloaded, we wait so it's showing that it's fully downloaded. Click on it. No, I'll just click on it, and okay, now it's downloaded. So click on it so we can install it. Need to wait a little bit. It's asking if we want to allow. Yes, we do allow it, and now you can see that we're preparing the installation. Okay, so we go to next. Next is showing us the location of the file. We're okay with that. Next. We're okay with all this. Next. Yes, install. So now we're installing everything. So we can see now everything is installing well. It's actually installed fully, or not yet. Oops. Almost pressed cancel there. Thank God I didn't. So now, guys, it's just about being patient. When we install VirtualBox, then we'll install Ubuntu inside VirtualBox. And when we've done these two things, we'll be able to actually use all the benefits of having Linux and Ubuntu. And yeah, this is going to be a nice thing. It's always good to understand Linux. I'm also learning in this whole tutorial. I also learn by actually creating tutorial videos. And yeah, and you can learn too. And if you have any questions, if you have any video suggestions, make sure you put it down in the comments below. It's fully installed, finished. So now we can actually check it out. And yep, you should have something like this. This is VirtualBox. What we need to do next is we need to install Linux. So I'll put a link for this too. If you're using Windows, you have the option for that. If you're using iOS or Mac, you have an option for that. And yeah, basically what we do is we're going to install this version of Ubuntu. This is for Windows, and just click on download right here. You can see it's downloading. It's 3.4 gigabytes. It's kind of a lot of gigabyte for that, but yeah, since we're going to use the VirtualBox, it's going to help out with that. But make sure that your system is also capable of this. If it's not, I'll show you another thing in the video where you can just try out Ubuntu instead of actually outright installing it into your system. And that way it has some benefits, it has some disadvantages. The benefit is that if you do it this way, you won't have all the space, all the hard drive and all that. It's not going to be loaded with Ubuntu and all the things it needs. But the disadvantage is that whenever you save files, you won't be able to really save files if you turn off your computer. So everything is going to be like, it's like a clean sweep every time you turn off your computer, which is not really good if you want to save stuff, if you want to have like a record of things. So depending on your situation and what you really want from this course, I would advise you to choose either way. But what we'll be doing in this tutorial video is that we are going to be doing it the installed way. Now, it's going to take a while for this to install, so I'll get back to this video when we've installed this 3.4 gigabytes of Ubuntu. Yes guys, so we finally downloaded it. It took a long time, but you know what, we got it done. Next thing I want us to do is you just right click here and then you say show in folder, because I want us to see the folder where this is, and we can see it right here. It's in our download folder. We know where it is right now. And now that we have the folder and we know where it is in the C drive and all that, what we need to do is we need to go back to our VirtualBox, and in the VirtualBox right here, we'll click on machine and we'll click on new. So for new, what we want to do is we want to actually create our new name and operating system. Now the name I want to give it is Ubuntu. You can see right here it changes, and I'll just say 22. So you can see it right here, and everything changes to Linux. It shows 62-bit, and yeah, make sure yours is like how mine is. Click on next. Now it shows that, yeah, how much space do you want to give it. I'll just leave it at 4 MB. You can literally leave it at 4, maybe make it 6 depending on your computer. I think 4 is just right for mine. The next thing is that we need to create a hard disk now, or do we want to add a virtual disk or use existing hard disk. So we just do create a new hard disk. Yeah, so we'll leave it at VDI and we'll put next. I want this to be dynamic, because whenever you see dynamic and fixed, you should know that dynamic means that it's going to increase as much as you're using, basically. So you don't want it fixed where we have to choose a really large amount of hard disk. So you don't want to choose fixed where we have to choose a large amount of hard disk. Instead, you want it to be dynamic in the sense that when we use a lot, it's going to increase. When we use not that much, it's going to reduce. So in that way, it's more elastic. So we'll choose dynamic allocated. Now what we want to do for the file allocation and size, depending on your system too, you can leave it like this or you can reduce it or increase it. I'm just going to leave it at 10 gigabytes. And now we can see right here that we have everything looking great. So now we'll go to settings. For the display, we want the video memory to be higher. You can click on this right here to see the you want to choose if you want to choose like a specific disk. Ubuntu is installed, so we'll go to downloads again, and we click here, and you can now see that we have our Ubuntu right there. And that's basically it, what we need to do here. So click on OK, and now we click on start, and we click on normal start. And click on enter. So yes, this is what I meant earlier. Now you need to choose your language, which in our case is going to be English. But another thing you need to make sure you got here is that if you just want to try it out where you're not installing it in a VirtualBox, you use the try Ubuntu. But in our case, for this tutorial, we will be installing it. So that's why we're going to click on the Install Ubuntu. Now you need to choose your language. I'll be using English US, and then we'll click on continue. Depending on what language you're comfortable with, make sure you choose that. And here you can see that we have normal install or minimal install. We want the normal install and download updates while installing Ubuntu. Now it's notifying you that it's gonna erase everything, and this would matter if we're actually downloading it outright on our operating system. But since we're using VirtualBox, we do not have to worry about this because our virtual machine, our VirtualBox, our operating system that we got with VirtualBox is practically empty. So yeah, we just downloaded it right like 5 minutes ago, so we don't really care about that. So we can just say install now. Click on continue there. It's asking where are you right now. I'm in Spain basically. Madrid is alright. And then we continue. And now it's asking for a name for the operating system. So I'll call this Sam Codes and Ubuntu 22. Sam will give it a password. Click on continue next. I have to say I really like this jellyfish graphic. Linux has a really cool and nice aesthetic to it, I have to say, and yeah, with this tutorial you guys really get a feel for it. I like the way it looks really programmy, if that's a word, but yeah, it's something nice to for sure have, and it's always great to know as a programmer. Someone in tech it's a great skill to have. And yes guys, this is actually basically, we're just waiting for all the files to be copied, but right now after the files are copied and all that, you should have Ubuntu on your virtual machine, on your VirtualBox, which is great. And this is going to be the start of the tutorial, the series on Linux, where we'll do different things from file directories to just understanding how to navigate the whole LinkedIn system, the whole Linux system, and really understand Linux operating system, understand the different shortcuts. And for sure I'll have references, I'll have book recommendations, and just all that good stuff to make you guys better at your profession, and also make me better, because whenever I do these tutorials, I have to be honest with you guys, I'm also learning, I'm also practicalizing the things I've learned too. So it's really a win-win situation for me, and I really appreciate the support, really appreciate the comments in the comment sections. And yeah guys, that's basically it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hopefully you're as excited as I am about the upcoming series on cloud engineering. And yeah guys, that's basically it for this tutorial, and I'll see you all on the next one.